I remember the day my son said it to me. If you don't want to go to the nursing home, get a job. The words were sharp, piercing, brutal in their simplicity. I smiled, not because I agreed, not because I was unaffected. I smiled because I did not want him to see the hurt I carried in my chest. I smiled because there is a strange kind of strength in mothers, a quiet endurance that we carry even when our hearts are breaking. A car stopped outside. The brakes squealed softly, and the sound mingled with my heartbeat, steady and loud in my ears. I didn't move. I didn't even blink at first. I just let the moment exist, suspended in its own harsh reality. It wasn't always like this. I remembered mornings filled with sunlight and laughter, the smell of toast drifting through the kitchen, eggs sizzling, coffee brewing. My son, then a boy of 8, chubby hands fumbling with the cereal bowl, hair messy, eyes bright, laughter echoing around the house like a melody. Those mornings had vanished, leaving behind only faint echoes in my mind, like music fading at the end of a long day. Now he was tall, confident, independent, commanding, and I felt small, fragile, lost. I tried to tell myself it was natural, that children grow and parents age, that life moves forward in cycles we cannot stop. But that day, his words, the tone of impatience, felt like a cruel reminder of the passage of time. A car stopped outside again. This time, the engine idled softly. I imagined the driver inside, ordinary, going about their errands, unaware of the silent drama taking place in my small apartment. I wondered if they could see the pain reflected in the window, the mother who had spent decades pouring her life into raising someone who now seemed almost a stranger. I had given him everything, every ounce of my energy, every sleepless night, every sacrifice I could bear. And perhaps my mistake had been giving quietly, invisibly, expecting nothing, hoping only for acknowledgement in smiles, hugs, or fleeting gestures of care. I sat down on the edge of the sofa, the years pressed down on my shoulders like invisible hands. Each tick of the clock reminded me that life was moving forward, with or without my consent. My son, who once clung to me for warmth and comfort, now seemed distant. His eyes scanned the room, seeing only what he wanted to see. He did not notice my silent despair. I thought of friends who had passed, empty chairs left in their homes, memories trapped in faded photographs. And I thought of the inevitability of my own mortality, the loneliness that had crept in slowly over the years, unnoticed until it became almost unbearable. The car stopped again. I looked out of the window. A child ran past on the sidewalk, holding a bright red balloon that bounced in the wind. I remembered holding my son's hand when he was small, the balloon floating above him, the joy in his eyes. How had he become so distant? How could someone I nurtured with such care speak to me so coldly? Tears gathered in my eyes, and I blinked quickly, forcing them back. I had to be strong. I had to maintain some semblance of dignity, some trace of composure. I had to endure this new kind of loneliness that had become part of my life. I remembered the first time he raised his voice at me like that. I had been kneading dough in the kitchen, flour dusting the counter like snow, when he came in with a stack of bills in his hand, eyes blazing. "Mom," he said, "you have to think about your future. You can't keep living like this." I had smiled then too, not because I agreed, but because I understood that he too was human. He was stressed. He was trying to navigate life as best he could. But he did not yet see the sacrifices, the endless nights I had endured, the times I had skipped meals so he could eat, the moments I had gone without rest to ensure he had a safe, warm place to sleep. I remembered the first time he learned to ride a bike. I had held him steady as he wobbled, heart pounding with fear. He had laughed, exhilarated and triumphant, and I had laughed with him. That laughter had been pure music. And now, the laughter had been replaced by impatience, the triumph replaced by distance. The car stopped once more. I imagined the driver inside, their life moving forward, unaware of the quiet heartbreak of the mother in the apartment above. How many people pass through the world without noticing the silent suffering of others? I wondered if they knew, if they understood, if they cared. Then my son returned. He entered, briefcase swinging lightly, phone pressed to his ear. He didn't notice my gaze at first. He ended his call and looked at me. For a moment, I saw a trace of the boy he had once been, buried beneath years of stress, responsibility, and distance. I smiled. Even in that fleeting recognition, I knew that the bond we shared still existed, fragile though it was. "Mom," he said softly, almost hesitant, I need to... I didn't.